Hi there. Welcome yet again to the veritable edge of Western civilization, Venice Beach, California. Today is Halloween, October 31st, 2014, and this is show number 104. That's right. And you can see that it's overcast, and there is rain threatening this evening, probably tomorrow morning. And it'll be the first time it will have rained since probably July, maybe for about 5 minutes in August here in Venice. And what's going on? Oh yeah, Halloween. That's right. Craziness. Lots of people wandering around in costumes. First thing I saw this morning was a witch walking across the street. As if there was, nothing amiss, nothing weird. She had the big black hat and the black get up and whatnot, and just walking along, la 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 la. But you knew she felt a little self-conscious because it was a little early in the day. Elvis Presley was just here, or Elvis in his later years, just before he kicked off. They had at least they had the overweight part done. I was just thinking about how people really enjoy doing the whole costume thing. How they embrace it, and it's usually the most normal people, the most invested in the way the world is and whatnot, the ones that seem to buy into it the most, are the ones that really, think it's cool to be in a costume for a minute. It's weird. Maybe it's not weird to you, it's weird to me, but anyway. And I think the reason why, where did that costume thing come from, right? And now it's kind of you can be anybody you want, but it seems like it comes from an ancient knowledge that this time of year, the real significance of this quote-unquote holiday is that the veil is thin between the worlds, and that it's possible to see people from the other dimensions, people that have been dead. And so hence all the ghoulishness of, skeletons and all that kind of stuff, which, grew into anything to do with death or scariness, and then grew into, well, you can be anything you want, which is kind of really far away from the original idea that if you're in the right place, like on a really powerful ley line, that was, channeling through a graveyard, because a lot of the ancient graveyards were actually built on in earth energy systems. They were designed to attract. There's a certain kind of ley line that is attracted to resonant cavities, like houses. House is a resonant cavity. A bottle is an open bottle is a resonant cavity. A skull is a resonant cavity, and so are the long bones. And so, like the pirate symbol, you have the major resonant cavities in the body. You have the skull and the long bones, and so it was said that the last grave, the last person to die, or I should say the most recent person that is interred into a graveyard, it becomes the guardian of the graveyard, and that's because it's the newest hole in the ground, and it attracts the specific kind of energy lay that runs across the surface of the earth and is attracted to resonant cavities. It attracts that first. You know, that's where that energy line goes first. It goes to that hole in the ground and through that person's bones. And the ancients are pretty well aware of these things. And so they used that. They employed that technology, that spiritual technology. There is a place in England called West Kennet Lawn Barrow. West Kennet. It's right over the hill from Avebury Stone Circle, the largest stone circle in the world, and right across the street from Silbury Hill. You know, Silbury Hill is that man-made cone that's about 4,000 years old. You know, flat-top cone. And, you know, while nobody really has a clear idea of what Silbury Hill was for, when you go to West Kennet Lawn Barrow, there's actually a sign, a plaque in front of it that says, the West Kennet Lawn Barrow is basically a man-made cave. There are 5 chambers in it, and you're in the middle of a farmland, right? Wide open space, and then there is this little hilltop. You know, it's not a big hilltop; it's a little hilltop, and people made an earthen cave, and the cave walls and everything are these stones, huge slabs of stone that were obviously they were built into this cave, and then the whole thing was covered over in earth, and then grass grows on top of that and whatnot. But there's a sign right in front that says that this cave, this man-made cave, was inside of it were the bones, the long bones and the skulls of prominent people. But it says that these places were not the final resting place of those people. They were just it was understood they were there for a short time. And because this ley line, this ley energy this earth energy that I was talking about that travels across the surface of the land is attracted to the resonant cavities, it would be attracted into the cave and then in through the long bones and the skull of whoever the last person, the most recent person to be interred there, and then on to the other bones and whatnot. So the implications are that the ancients knew that somehow they could access the souls of those people and the wisdom of those people through the employment of this technology, and somehow they access that by being on the stepping into that ley line, the flow of that ley line somewhere, and they could tap into or communicate with that soul wherever they were in the afterlife. Crazy stuff, huh? 4,000 years, 5,000 years ago. This was, So imagine if your community was in peril for some reason, and you were able to. America was in peril, and you wanted to get the founding fathers' take on whatever was happening. At a time of year like this, you could, step into the beam that ley line flowing across the land that flows in through his stored bones, his tomb, and then, you know, you could have a communication, get their take on things. Crazy, huh? Yeah. Well, this was pretty important to people because they constructed these places so they would last through time, and they dedicated. You know, this wasn't just somebody's pet project. This was like the equivalent of our space program. You know, getting to the moon or beyond. You know, the whole culture. You know, all the communities of England put energy into making these constructions, and once again, they made them so that they would last, and so they have. I mean, they've been around for, you know, between 4,000 and 5,000 years. Crazy stuff. And yet we are, what do we have? What have we done with that? You know, we made it into trick or treat. You know, collecting sugar. It's craziness. Anyway, love and light, love and light, love and light, love and light. Hey, if you want to know more about that technology, I can make some recommendations. There's a book called The Ancient Energies of the Earth, and the author's name is David Cowan. And it was published in 1999 or 98 in England, and it's out of print, but you can, I've seen copies on Amazon. But he has a second book. He had a falling out with his publisher, so he, about the second printing, and so he ended up taking all that information that's in the first book and putting it in a second book, and that one's called Ley Lines and Earth Energy. Once again, his name is David Cowan, and that's Cowan. And that's a paperback. It's like $20. It's a real, you know, he's been a blessings. He's been a dowser for you know, probably about 30 years now. And he started as a skeptic about dowsing, and he discovered the main circuit stone for all of Scotland and Northern England. And cup mark ley energy, this specific kind of, he's a specialist in the specific kind of energy that flows above the earth and can be manipulated by people. You know, and the sort of energy that, you know, they what he found was that they essentially placed graveyards in specific places to help the, you know, to bolster the flow of the energy through the system, the whole system. And they would, you know, what's interesting is they would build their villages so that the energy would flow through each house in the village. So basically, even if somebody died and they were, you know, interred in the graveyard, you could, you know, the energy is going to flow through their bones, and then it's going to flow into your houses, and you can, you know, if you have the right awareness and whatnot and sensitivity, you can access those people more easily. Crazy stuff, you know? Yeah, our world seems to be about, you know, as ever on the threshold of a whole new direction, eh? Anyway, what do we got? 67%. Okay. It's 428. And let's see. This is as far as we got yesterday with our construction project. Excuse.
Actually, everybody's jealous. I'm not making any money on our jealousy. That guy's making money. Send people over to him. You know, that you know what? Even you can't change the job. They got to change themselves. Yeah, Mike. But anyway, Mike, you know what Mike did? He had two guys, two boxes, knocking on my door because his stuff was on my porch. But when they got even get up there, he was with a girl who stole his boxer's car and went downtown and two guys from the airport.
I know. We might have to cut this short. I'm thinking I'm seeing water. Yep, I'm seeing water. Yeah. Hard to paint in the rain, draw in the rain, and I need to pack my stuff up. So, thanks for listening. I know it's a short show, but yeah, I don't want it to rain into the computer. Yeah. Okay. So, no show over the weekend. Actually, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. But it's supposed to be all sunny next week, and that's all. That should be good. So, once again, thanks for listening, and here's your beam of light. Remember, we love you.